How Prairie Became Ocean, illustrated by Alan Flynn. Several Yurok children are awake on this stormy night inside their cedar plank lodge. After whispering amongst themselves, they get up quietly and tiptoe over to the fire, where their grandma sits. "Grandma, I'm glad you're awake. The storm is so loud that none of us can sleep. The waves have been crashing against the shores all night. It's impossible to sleep. May we join you by the fire?" "We can't sleep a wink, grandmother." "Sit down, my children. We will keep each other company." "Will you tell us a story, grandmother?" "Yes, grandma, please tell us a story." "I have the perfect tale for stormy evenings. I will recount the story about a time when thunder rumbled and earthquake changed the land." The children huddled close together. Shadows and light cast by the fire danced along the lodge walls. "This story comes from a long time ago, when no people lived in this place we call home. Then the land looked different. We would not recognize it as our own." "How was the land different, grandmother?" "Long ago, there were no oceans here." "No oceans? That's impossible. Without the ocean, there would be no salmon entering our rivers for us to catch. I could not adjust to life without the ocean. Life would be impossible without the ocean." "There was only a treeless prairie as far as the eye could see. The land was flat, empty, and dusty, with no ocean. This place was bleak and uninhabitable because no one could live here. No one did. Then one day, everything changed." "What happened, grandmother?" "Two friends, thunder and earthquake, came upon this barren landscape. While wandering across its vast emptiness, they talked." As grandmother speaks, she gestures with her hands, which swoop and bend in the light of the fire. The shadows elongate, forming images on the wall behind her that resemble the characters in her tale. "This land cannot sustain life. The few plants that survive in the barren earth are brown and withered. Without plants, the animal refuse to come. And without plants and animal, it is unfathomable that people will populate the land. This land does not please me. The endless brown plains are monotonous. There are no majestic mountains or beautiful valleys. We should change this place so the plants will grow, and so that animals and people will come and thrive. But how? My friend, we need water. With water, you and I can make this desolate land fertile. But where will we find water? This dry prairie stretches without relief in every direction. Let us summon our wise friend, Kingfisher, the greatest traveler of all. If water can be found, Kingfisher will know its whereabouts." Thunder and earthquake called to Kingfisher. Swift as the wind, he flew to them. Solemn and dignified, he greeted his friends. "Earthquake and thunder, you have called me, and I have come. Tell me, what are you doing in this barren place?" "This land is precisely why we have called you. Earthquake and I wish to transform this place into a land where plants, animals, and people can live. But we need your help. If we can bring water here, plants will grow, animals will come, and people will be able to live on this land. Can you help us find water?" "Ah, yes. I think I can help you with your endeavor. Hundreds of miles from here, at the very edge of the land, I have glimpsed a great body of water. Huge schools of salmon swim in the water, and mighty whales dwell in its depths. Thunder climb on my back. Together we will journey to the water. Earthquake, please wait for us. Thunder climbed onto Kingfisher's back, and together they flew away. Earthquake stood alone on the prairie, watching until his friends vanished into the horizon, and he awaited their return. Grandmother holds her hand like a pair of wings. In the shadow, they create the shape of Kingfisher flying. See Kingfisher flying in the shadow. They traveled for 3 days and 3 nights. By the third night of their journey, both Kingfisher and Thunder yearned for rest. Finally, they reached the place where the land met the water. Here's the body of water I told you about. There is much life here. Look at that salmon. Look at that sea lion and the whales. How will we carry the water back to the land? Thunder scooped up the water in his hand, but it spilled out. Kingfisher filled his beak, but his beak did not hold much water. How will they get the water back to Earthquake? It was then that Thunder came across 2 enormous abalone shells lying in a pile of seaweed and debris. He filled the pearly shells until they were brimming with water. Now we can return to Earthquake. For 3 days and 3 nights, Kingfisher flew with Thunder sitting on his back, carefully balancing the abalone shell. It must have been difficult to carry the water for 3 days and 3 nights. Did Thunder spill any water? Thunder was very careful and did not spill a drop. Finally, Thunder and Kingfisher arrived at the prairie where Earthquake waited. Welcome back, my brave friends. I see you have succeeded in bringing the water. Now we can transform this lifeless land into a bountiful place. Where should we put the water? Before we pour out the water, let us make a channel so the water can flow. We should also dig a deep place where the water can collect. Leave it to me. Earthquake sprinted across the entire length of the prairie. The quaking earth rocked wildly to and fro. Winter could run. Make a place for the water to flow. Go, Earthquake, go. The land changes with your every step. The children spring up and run around the campfire, stomping their feet in imitation of Earthquake. Their grandmother laughs at the sight. At last, the rowdy children settle down to listen once more. Earthquake's heavy footsteps shook the ground so much that it sank, forming a wide, deep trench that stretched for miles. Now we can pour the water onto the land. Kingfisher and Thunder poured out the water for the abalone shells. With a roar, it cascaded into the trench. Bellowing sea lions, fish of every color and size, and mighty whales poured out of the shells as well. Just like that, part of the prairie disappeared, and an ocean took its place. We did it, my friends. We transformed the barren prairie into an ocean teeming with life. The waves are full of silver-scaled trout and powerful salmon. Mussels and clams encrust the rocky tide pools along the shore. I am grateful to Thunder and Earthquake for the gift of the ocean. Thank you, Thunder and Earthquake. They could not have succeeded if Kingfisher had not found the water. Thank you, Kingfisher. What happened next, Grandmother? The 3 friends saw that Earthquake's rowdy stomping had changed other parts of the land as well. Look! The land alongside our new ocean is no longer flat. Earthquake reshaped it into hills, mountains, and rivers. Now that the land is no longer parched with thirst, forests will flourish here. Deer, foxes, rabbits, and elk will find shelter and nourishment under the trees. With the abundant plants and animals, people are sure to come. Hunters will track the animals among the trees. Lumberjack will carve the largest tree trunks into great boats. Children will play in the forest's shade. Earthquake and thunder were pleased with their handiwork, but their hearts were sorrowful at the thought of leaving the beautiful land they created. I could live happily here forever. Thunder, let us stay and make our home on this place. We will live alongside the people and watch over them. The people will never forget that you gave them the bountiful ocean that sustains their lives. The beauty of the ocean will replenish their spirits when they are sad. They will gaze at the misty horizon and find comfort in its beauty. And so the prairie became ocean, my children. To this very day, thunder and earthquake dwelled along us. Outside the lodge, the wind howls and thunder booms. Ocean waves slapped against the rocky shore. Grandmother and the children paused to listen. What a wonderful tale! I'm glad that thunder and earthquake decided to live with us near the ocean. Whenever I hear thunder boom, I'll remember your story, Grandmother, and someday, perhaps I will tell it to my grandchildren. A terrific thunderclap outside makes everyone recoil. Maybe thunder was listening to our story too.